Live from El Paso, Texas. From the Piper Academy studio, this is the Morning Market Report with Army Piper, OC Guy, and Tradefly.
Is it a banger?
Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and Tradefly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. I am Army Piper. We got a great show lined up for you today. Job numbers just came in this morning, missing expectations, and of course, they revised some data from the previous month, slid it on that back desk like we always talk about. We're going to be looking at that. What does that mean for the rate cuts coming up in about a week and a half? Plus, very special guest, comedian and crypto investor Richard Berry joins the panel today. Guys, let's get it. Class is in session. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. It is Friday, September. What is today's date? I don't even know anymore. It's September 6th. It's September 6th. We got jobs data that just came in this morning, and we got a full panel today. Tradefly broadcasting live from an airport. No, not the one that he works at. We got OC Guy in the house, and we have a very special guest, Richard Berry, joining us today. Very, very excited about having that. So let's go ahead and bring up. I got to make sure I hit the right button because I got all kinds of them today while Richard Berry's in the background fixing his camera. But here we go. There we go. Tradefly and OC Guy. What is up, fellas? How you guys doing today? How you feeling? OC, you were out for a day. Tradefly filled in. Now Tradefly's in here working with his setup at an airport. You look like you're at a very nice spot there, though, Tradefly. So we'll start with OC and we'll come back to you. OC, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing much better. For some reason, I caught the flu on Tuesday or something like that, and I've been having a couple of also meetings in the morning, with short-term stuff. But right now, I'm feeling, I don't know if that the drugs, the medicine, or what, but I'm feeling pumped. And I got my beautiful coffee here, and also Tradefly. So long no see in the class, buddy. Okay.
What the happy hell? What's going on, Tradefly? How you doing, man? You're at an airport. Where you going? Where you heading this time?
I am headed to Tampa, Florida. I'm going to catch the Washington Commanders game versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, opening game for my Washington team. I'm a longtime fan. You can never question my loyalty because they've sucked for years. But hey, I'm excited. I'm going to be going with my mom and my stepdad, and should be a good time, man. I'm really excited about it.
Awesome. Can you go ahead and let's go through some names here. We're getting some people coming in right now. We'll have some more here in a bit. The investing bros are finishing up over there. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to the people in the chat. Go for it, Tradefly. That is your run.
Do it.
That's your jam.
You know it. Ninja Glock. Happy Friday. What's going on, my dude? My man FD White in the house. We're doing it big on Crypto Nightcap every Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. There's my shield for that. BC Port Corp. What's up, my dude? Buck, my dude. How you doing? He's my Marine. Rah, let's do it. A to Ace. What's up, my guy? Little Fish, Harp, Indie Rock, Crypto, Retro, Mike Tech. He is the man. I need to talk to you, man. I need to talk to you. I got to pivot off this cash. You got to help me out. All right, usernames in here, LBC. Let's go ahead and see the waves in the chat. Crux of Crypto, my dude. He's in here. Show him some love as well. Alexander G, the best mod in the house. We love you so much. And Louis B. And I think that about wraps it up here. Quick and easy.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I see that Richard Berry has his camera up back there. If you can go ahead and share your screen, Richard, and then we'll get you ready to come up. But I'm going to go ahead and bring, this is like an old school throwback for me. You guys may not know this, but long ago, before I joined the military back in 2001, after 9/11, I was in the nightclub business. And one of the jobs that I had in that 12 years of working in bars was I was in my master of ceremonies. I was an MC, and I used to, host all kinds of, karaoke and lingerie shows and all kinds of crazy stuff. One of the things that I did was I hosted a comedy show, and our next guest is a comedian and a crypto investor. So, our next comedian up today, everyone, it is Richard Berry. He's a comedian and an avid crypto investor who uses technical analysis and artificial intelligence to navigate the world of crypto. Fantastic guy, hilariously funny and very smart when it comes to his money. Let's go ahead and bring him up, ladies and gentlemen. It's Richard Berry. And there he is. Bam. What's up, Richard Berry? You're still muted, so check your mic. But you muted yourself, but I think you should be good to talk. How you doing, man?
What's good, guys? What's going on?
There he goes. There he goes. So we had you all set up for a green screen. That didn't happen. You had to go with the sideways camera there for us. But Richard, it is great to have you on. If you guys don't know who Richard Berry is, he is also known as the Irish Chink on Twitter. So if you haven't looked at his actual name, it says Richard Berry. But if you do it's Irish Chink, which is absolutely hilarious too. But you are also a big member of the Billy Goat Tells community. You're very active over there. A lot of people probably know you from there, but they probably don't know that you are it says no video. You guys not getting video? Are you guys getting, let me know in the chat if you guys are getting video, because it says it's broadcasting video on my end. But you are we'll continue talking. Oh, he just lost his video. Got it. Okay, well, he's having issues with his camera there again. So, but you guys know him from Billy Goat Tells. He's also a comedian, and he's got a live show tomorrow. And then maybe it did not. There we go. There we go. Now we have it. It did not change scenes, did it? Nope, there we go. But he's still coming up, guys. We're going to bring him back up here. He's working his camera in the background. And then he is a comedian, Billy Goat Tells, and big in crypto. So I had to get that all out. It's like all these issues coming at me at once while I'm trying to think what I'm saying here. We're going to go ahead and jump into the news, and then we're going to let Richard Berry fix his camera again. We just lost it and it's coming back up. So let's jump over to the news. Let's knock that stuff out. Keep this train going. Simper Gumby, as Tradefly says. And let's get back to this. Let's jump over here, guys. Take a look at the news, what we're seeing over here. We are seeing the fear and greed index right now sitting at 22, extreme fear. If you guys don't know, this is where Crux tends to buy in. Extreme fear is his buy indicator. So I'm sure that he is thinking about picking up some, but he might be holding on to it for another level. I'm not sure if he's waiting for like a specific number in here. Crux, if you're in the chat, let me know. Let's jump over and check out the crypto bubbles, though, guys. Looking here, we are seeing a lot of red here on the daily still. We did get a little bit of movement on TON. We did get SUI up 6.9%, JASMI up 2.7%. But overall, lots of red there. ADA down 4.6%. Let's look here at Bitcoin. It is down 1% on the daily, 5.4% on the weekly, sitting just above around 56.5. I know that 55.555 was where Alex O Crypto was setting along yesterday, so he did get a little bit of a bounce trade on that, but overall sitting in the red. Ethereum not able to hold that $2,500 levels, guy. It is back down to 2384. Crux said he thinks it's 22. 22 is what he's waiting on, and right now it is 22. It is 22. So what level are you buying at, Crux? I'm just curious on that. He's there in the chat. So let's look at BNB here, down 0.3%. On the hourly, down 0.5%, guys. On the market open, getting sell off. Matter of fact, let me look over here at the news. I got CNBC up over here. It looks like we're getting a dump on all of the treasury bonds, which means people are buying them up. It looks like the Dow is up 0.3% this morning. So it is, but the S&P is down just 8.9%, almost 0.1%, and then the Nasdaq's down about almost 0.6%. So market sell-off is happening. Yeah, Bitcoin is dumping.
It's just moved $900 in like literally 5 minutes.
Oh Lord! Well, let's just rush through this. Then we'll get over there and take a look at that, guys. Liquidations, they're happening right now. We'll come back to that. Non-farm payrolls, guys. Non-farm payrolls actually came in at 142,000. Unemployment at 4.2. Shout out to Alex O Crypto. He called that one also. Right now, I'm just going to do the summarized version of this because I want to jump over here and get into that chart, and then I want to get Richard Berry up here because I want to know what his thoughts are on all of this. The jobs report. Let's go here. This is Kamisi letter. The June and July jobs reports have been revised lower. Shocker. We talked about that. That's 86,000 jobs that it had combined a revision on. The June jobs report was revised lower by 61,000 from 179,000 to 118,000. And then the July jobs report, so they went back 2 months and revised jobs, guys. Revised lower by 25,000 jobs. This means that the July jobs report was the weakest jobs report since the pandemic in December 2020. Just wait for next month's numbers and when we see revisions on today's numbers, which were not exactly great. So that is what we're seeing there. And then let's jump back over because I got other news and stuff, but it seems like there's some market action going on. So let's jump back over here. Richard Berry, what's up, bro? How you doing, man? We have you back on camera now. I'm going to give you a nice little green screen for you. There we go. We're going to get that on green. I need that on green. That is not green. Oh, there we go. Perfect. There we go. We have a scene set up for you, man. How are you doing? And let's say hello to the people. Tell people who you are, a little bit about yourself before we jump into this Bitcoin chart. You're muted. You're muted, Richard.
Hey, we're
You
I'm
haven't
still showing
changed
trio
scene
cam.
from the. Yeah, we're still in trio cam.
What is going on with this thing?
Yeah, there he is.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Yep.
Finally.
We can see,
Okay.
we can hear
sweet.
you,
Yeah, man. For
and
some
we
reason,
can
my
see
screen
you. There we
showed I was
go.
muted, even though I was unmuted. Yeah, dude. So
yeah, tell the people about yourself, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
dude.
pleasure, dude.
I've been investing in the markets for quite some time, over 20 years. I first started paper trading when I was 16 years old. I started a Google account and was just paper trading on there until I came up to the until I started my own account when I was 18 years old and kind of dabbled into the legacy stocks and up until crypto, and then I just pretty much just cut all that off and just fully went into crypto. I have zero legacy assets. I just don't believe in the system anymore. I remember when I was younger, they were saying that computers were going to be the next 20 years when I was in high school. That ended up happening. And I think that blockchain technology is pretty much the next 20 to 40 years of technology that they're going to build on plus AI. So I'm not afraid to jump ship.
Well, there you go. So what do you think about the economic data coming out? Because I've been kind of the bear lately. I've been super bearish for the community. I've been called the perma bear now by TradeFly. What are your thoughts on how Bitcoin is going to perform in this economy, being that we've never seen crypto, never seen Bitcoin on a 4-year cycle with a negative contracting economy? It's always been growth and positive economy in its environment to grow in. So what are you thinking about it this time around?
Yeah, so I mean that's a good question because a lot of people are wondering that right now. First of all, with the job numbers that have come out, and we can kind of put this all into perspective with the U.S. non-farm payrolls. I mean, the job numbers that added 142,000 pretty much was lower than expected. Like we were expecting 164,000, so pretty much job growth is slowing, and so that's essentially a lagging indicator. When I hear job growth is slowing, we hear it didn't happen today. It happened, last month or prior months, and they're just now coming out with this data. So look. So when I think about this, I try to play chess and I try not to play checkers. I'm thinking about the move 6 months from now. So 6 months from now, if we hear job data from U.S. non-farm payrolls, what will it be? What will we hear? But what will it actually be during that time? And so that's kind of how I'm looking at that. You have a 100% right to be bearish. So I like to be bullish. All right. I don't like. I'm an eternal optimist, but at the same time, we have, everybody knows inflation is up. But the scary thing right now is that we have talks about rate cuts, which is fine. I believe that, we need some relief. However, the whole point of raising rates or keeping them steady and not cutting them is so that way inflation can come down, but it's not coming down. Like, I don't know if you went to the grocery store lately. I'm sure you have because, we're all here, we're alive, and we've been eating. I got 3 kids and, man, they love to eat. And I just noticed that the inflation has not come down. So if inflation does not come down, and they try to cut rates, then they didn't do their job. I mean, the Fed literally just didn't do their job. So and then we saw record high gold prices come up. AI is going to use a lot of energy. Bitcoin mining is going to need to use a lot of energy. Of course, I'm not trying to get all political here, but they're trying to talk about cutting energy and all this and that. But that's impossible because it's only going to exponentially increase. So this is disastrous. So short term, I think because we're in a presidential election. Also, in the past 10 years, I did a calculation in September's. There's about a 60 to 70% bearishness in the last 10 years, especially with Bitcoin and other stocks. But in the months of October to November, there seems to be bullish price action. And then I did a calculation in which we're about 4 months and some change from the 1 year anniversary of the ETF, in which people could sell their ETFs. So that way they can get a tax, so they don't get penalized with their with tax loss selling. So they can and so to me that coincides with a possible bottom during that time. So I think after all of this is said and done, I think we get the question is, do we get a crash now or do we get it later? I think we get mega dips along the way. And ultimately next year, I think banks crash. So yes, there's definitely a case to be bearish, and it's going to happen. I think it's going to be far worse in 2007, 2008. But where do we take our profits at? And so that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, very interesting. And you were talking about food prices. By the way, July was a record month on food prices globally for takeout and groceries. So, yeah, it's definitely not in line. And I want to jump over here and show this one chart that I'm watching here, because this is the CME, guys, and they are now, let me give it a refresh just to see if it's changed at all. But this is after this morning's data came out. This was at a 51% chance of 50 basis points. It's now back to 41.59. But like 30 minutes ago, this was 51 to 50 after that data came out this morning. So if we see 50 basis points come out on September 18th, I believe it is. September 18th for those rate cuts. If we see them come out with 50 basis points, that's typically a sign of emergency reaction on the federal government's part. It means it basically translates to we messed up. That's what 50 basis points would be versus 25 basis points. So I'm going to be watching this closely as that scales back and forth a little bit there. Because if we do see 50 basis points, we are going to be looking at something different here on this economic projection that we're on, which right now is not looking good. But shout out to FD White. He said, we got to remember, inflation coming down just means prices going up slower. We need deflation. I don't think we're ever going to see deflation, sadly. I don't think that no one tends to ever go back and lower their prices. You ever notice that? They'll raise it. Of like, hey, this looks like it might be more expensive. We're going to raise our prices to cover that. And then even if it didn't come in that expensive, they never actually, that's how everything works. When you let a new level become the norm, it's now the floor for the next level. That's all it is. So prices not probably coming back. But he did want me to give you a shout out, Richard. FD did. He messaged me this morning. He said, Richard Berry is my guy. We were together riding hard during the bear market. So he would like for you to join.
He's my homie for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he would like for you to join him and TradeFly right below me here for the Crypto Nightcap. They do a show together every Monday through Thursday here on Piper Academy in the evening called Crypto Nightcap.
I'm down. So, let's do it.
Awesome. There you go, TradeFly. There's one of your next guests right there, man. Let's go
I'm
ahead
in on
and
that,
jump in.
man.
I know you are. You like getting some guests, and Richard Berry, very fun dude. And if you guys have never checked out his comedy, you're doing a comedy show tomorrow, right, Richard? Or is it tonight?
Well, actually, yes, tonight. So at tonight in Duluth, pretty much it's Atlanta, Georgia. I have a paid comedy show that I'm doing at the Pygmies concert. It's a rock band, and we're doing comedy right before that. So yeah, if you're in the area, come check it out.
The Pygmies. I know who they are. I've heard of them. There you go, right there, 37 Main, September 6th at 9 p.m. So if you guys are in the Atlanta area, go check out, go get some entertainment. You can watch the Velcro Pygmies, and then you can also see Richard Berry there live on stage, comedybreakin.com. You guys should go check that out. Probably going to be a pretty good show. I've watched some of his stuff, and I got to tell you, the funniest thing that I saw was you had a heckler in your crowd. I get hecklers in the chat too, but I don't know that I've ever handled it with the finesse that you did on your video. You had a heckler in the crowd, and she said something about go back to China, and you just popped off. You just looked over at her with like all this confidence and said, "I'm Korean, bitch," and it was phenomenal. So, yeah. So I think
Well,
that
I got to thank my wife for that. She's trained me very well.
Wives train us very well, don't they? Let's go ahead and jump into that Bitcoin chart, guys, and let's see what we're seeing over there now. And then we'll come back around heat map. Richard, go ahead and get a chart ready, because I know that you've got some price action and some technical analysis that you're looking at things on too. So let's have you ready to go, and then let's jump over into my chart. Looking at the Dixie right now, guys, you can see the Dixie did have a pullback initially this morning. I do want to talk about that, and then it got a nice pump up. Probably going to get a little bit higher on this, I would guess. But remember, the economy situation, not good for the Dixie either, right? So, and this is not just versus investments, right? It's not just money going out of investments back into the dollar. This is also the dollar being weighed against other baskets of currencies. So, but as of right now, getting a little pump on that. Let's jump into the Bitcoin and see how that's looking. So I've been watching this level right here. This 618 is what I've been watching. I'm looking at a 4-hour chart. The 618 is a golden pocket level that I've had on here since 2022 easily. This level is where we are fighting to get a hold. We did get a bounce up here. Look at that. That is TradeFly's channel. So I'm not going to talk about that. I know he's going to, but it tested on it perfect and tried to get back up. This was a key level of support, and it needed that to get up. It started to, and then that data this morning pulling it back down below that 618. This right here has officially become what we could look at as an OC retest. Why? Because if we come over here and we get rid of all of the brush marks here, the Mexican spaghetti, the Picassos, look at that, guys. On the daily, that would be what we would call a retest. Matter of fact, you put this on a 12-hour, you'll even see it. There it is. Closed out retest for more downside movement. It does look like the volume is still heading down. Money flow is still heading down. Everything's still heading down except for the True 7. It has clipped right there, the bright pink. Everything else still heading down on the 12 hours. So that's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now, getting a nasty pullback on that wick to the downside right there. So let's jump it over, check out TradeFly's chart, and see that heat map, and then let's get into some a round table of some Bitcoin TA.
Right on. So I got the heat map up on the 3-day right now. You can see where liquidity is building up. You're at about 58.6, 58.5, somewhere in that range and on up. There's another hot spot if you zoom out a little bit at about 60K. So keep that in mind before we look at the charts. But really, this is where liquidity is sitting at right now. And you can see it looks like price action really wanted to start working up in that direction. And then, of course, we get bad data again. So one of the trends that I'm noticing right now, minus the retest of that area that Piper just pointed out to you, is that it seems like every time we start moving up with price action, we get bad data, brings it back down. And what are we doing? We're retesting that channel. So Piper talked about it a little bit. You guys are probably tired of hearing me talk about it, but I'm telling you, the trend is your friend till the end, and I'm going to hold to it until we get a true retest on the bottom side of this area, until we see something that looks a little bit more like this.
TradeFly, you're still on the heat map, bro.
I got you. Here we go. I got a single screen today. I'm doing it from an airport,
Boom
guys.
shakalaka.
So work with me. All right, work with me. So again, he's talking about this channel right here, and we've talked about it quite a bit. This is the high up there at the top, and then the median right here is where we're finding resistance, and now we have support here at the bottom of the channel. All right, so that's why I'm really hanging to this. And I'm telling you, when you start zooming out a little bit or just expanding the chart, you can see the wicks. You can see some of the wicks are here. Buying pressure. All right, this one was a little different. That was a sharp fall down, and you got that 2022 high. We talked about that. That was liquidity. That was a liquidity-based move. The maker was going to get his, and that, in my mind, opened us up for actually continuation to the upside while keeping bullish structure. So we came back up, and then again, set kind of a series of lower lows. So we're kind of getting a squeeze now, right? Now, what I don't like about it, if you're looking at a squeeze and you see a horizontal level of support, you're seeing these higher lows kind of go into it. Really, that's actually kind of bearish. All right. So it's a little bit bearish. And as Piper said, we have some bearish indicators going into it if you're looking at the oscillators. So it's really, this is a fight. All right, this is a fight for Bitcoin sitting at support right now that, we're trying to hold the line. But I'm telling you, I feel like there is some sort of whale or institutional investment that is fighting the fight with us and trying to hold this trend line. But again, we're just going to keep an eye on it. It's a wait and see right now for me. I'm not going to go long. All right. I'm going to wait till we get that confirmation. We're probably going to have to break that area that Piper's talking about before we can really feel comfortable about that continuation. The other thing you see here, dynamic reactor starting to work its way down. So there's a couple key areas of resistance that we have to work through before I'm comfortable saying, hey, you know what? We're actually reversing now. And I think we're going to have that continuation to the upside. So be very, very careful. High side targets. All right. If we do flip, all right, and we start moving to the upside, your 2021 high is a pretty obvious horizontal level of resistance, sorry. And then your 64, about 65K, right? If you were to draw a horizontal line right here, let's actually do it so you can see it. So when you do this and you put it on the chart, it makes things pop a little bit for you. There you go. Let me move that down. Boom. All right. So you see there's a nice level there, resistance. You can see support right here. And then you can see, areas of support and resistance. These lines really clear up the charts for you. That's why I love the horizontal levels. But that's a pretty key area. So getting over this dynamic reactor, and then, we'll probably see some sort of rejection initially before we see that movement to the upside. So that's really our struggle right now. What happens if we break down? We got to be ready for that. If we get this OC retest, kind of like this is indicating, you come down and then you come back up for a retest, then we could see continuation to the downside. All right. So yeah, I know I'm saying it could go up, it could go down. That's the typical content creator thing. But really, it's because
that is amazing technical analysis. I bet it goes right. I bet it goes right there.
Yeah, I bet it's going to go up and right or down and right. I promise you, but it is right. But the thing is, we're just at a key level. We're at a key level, and that's really like the story here. And we got to wait. All right. And so for me, you guys know how I like to play the game. I look for price action to come to me, right? So with 50K, remember, I set that buy limit a long time ago, and I just let it come down to it. And eventually it hit. It took months to get there, but that's just kind of the game that I play. Anything right here, when you're trying to trade something that's really at a key level, it's a little bit more element of risk, and you need to understand that that's either scalping or intraday, and you got to be very, very careful with that. All you can do is come down, it's not all you can do, but one of the things you can do is come down to the oscillator and see, what are we trending here? Like, what do we got? At True 7, right? That popped. And then you do see kind of an up and right, formation here, but it's not rounding yet. It's still working its way down. So if we start to see this bend up, we get multiple tests of this area, and it seems like it's kind of riding up, showing that there's a little bit of buying pressure as well as strength with these retests. Like, you want to see that price action start moving up, then we might get a little bit more confident about the price action going up and right. But for now, be careful, stay safe here. I'm not buying this level. Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. Let it come down to the 2022 high, or let it go up to somewhere where that there's confidence that there's going to be resistance. Maybe you play the inverse and you look for a short opportunity.
Absolutely. I have to jump over here to the quad cam real fast because Alex, who I was speaking so highly of about his beautiful 55.555 trade yesterday that he caught on a wonderful bounce, and his 4.2% unemployment rate that he called also correctly. He's now joined the chat, and it seems like he's brought an army of otters to the chat here, man. The chat is nothing but otters. So shout out to the otter gang. Shout out to Alex O Crypto joining us over here. We appreciate you being in here, man. You guys know Alex O and you're in the gang over there. They should all know Richard Berry from Billy Goat Tales also. So welcome to the show, everyone. Yeah, Alex O Crypto is the man, dude. All right, OC, what do you have on your chart that you're seeing? Then we're going to bring it around, and we're going to get into the comedy intellect on a chart from Richard Berry. So let's get into OC's chart, see what he's seeing there.
So let's take a look at just a daily, very quick in here. And just let's see how is it playing. So we have what I've been trying to see, or actually it's been playing out, which seems to be like a bull flag on daily. So I'm pretty excited about this. We're in our target, our projected target. It's 102. So I cannot wait for that 102 and further on to 500. 100K, right? But let's just be realistic at this point. We're not there yet. So remember that I also draw this. Yeah, not yet, not yet. We need to be patient.
Hold on. OC, I said comedy TA from Richard Berry after you, not from you. Let's get it.
Got it,
I like
Roger
it. Let's
that.
Get it.
So we're still on the play on this flag, right? I mean, remember that I draw this kind of like a center line on this area. We're breaking it down, so that usually means that we are going to have, just like it happening here, right? A breakout, maybe a little bit of a retest that TradeFly was talking about, right? And then my position entry at the bottom of that trend line. So I am expecting a little bit of a pullback in here for a possible continuation somewhere around 51.49-ish areas. These flags still within play. Usually, and this is a personal measurement, guys, I usually measure the flag out to be at least a 2/3 of the way of the pole, right? That's for me the maximum that I'm gonna be going for. So this will be somewhere like the center. This is gonna be like somewhere around 2/3 in here. And as we can see, we'll still have a couple of more days to go with before we start calling, or I start calling, and come on with this thing. I hate it when it doesn't, when it overscales that drawing. But yeah, I mean, you see what I mean, guys? All right, so let me just do that once again, so we can have a proper measurement. Something like that. There we go. And then without rescaling stuff, let's just measure the sideways. And by the way, click that like button, smash it. So we still have something like what is it, 126 days left at maximum, right? Before we start calling this bar not useful. So 116 days. So strap on, because we're gonna be very shaky. I believe that somewhere around here on 21st of September, as you can see here, we might start seeing some bounces. It's not gonna be exact. You always see that I'm not pinpointing in dates, but I'm always pinpointing on price action. Other things that I'm looking at in here, it is on our oscillator, on MVP oscillator. We're not there yet on DCA areas. If you take a look at here, I'm DCAing when, and I pick up this from Piper, when the ribbon is below the zero line and we are having some green bars in here, right? So look at that beautiful DCAing area, beautiful DCAing area, and we're not there yet on the DCA area. As you can see, we're still aiming for that beautiful wave pattern, up, down, up, down, up, and what do you guess? Down, all the way down here. That's what I'm going to be looking at on my MVP oscillator. By the way, it's part of your traditional oscillator. If you're looking for it, you select it right on this drop down. Other than that, and really quick, just like we guys are being expected, and also we've been talking about extreme fear. I think we could go a little bit farther. I think this extreme fear is going to go for the bounce up, right? For that little bounce up to reverse, just like the TradeFly was mentioning. And an Easter egg, and I picked up this from RC2. If you download this add-on on your Chrome or Brave browser, well, then magic happens, and then you don't cook your eyes. Just a little quick tip there, guys, for you if you like not to be blinded by your screen. Other than that, turn it back to you guys.
Awesome. Richard Berry, it is time to bestow your brilliance on the people with your TA, bro. What are you looking at? What are you seeing on the charts? And let's jump into that.
Oh Jesus, man! Don't hype me up too much. But I have. Let's start with something simple. So first of all, I'm looking at the U.S. dollar currency because I think everybody's looking at the wrong trade. Well, not everybody, but essentially, look what we have here. We have a giant M pattern. Look at this spike up to the left. We didn't even form a head. We spiked another mountaintop to the right, essentially, and we went down. So this circle that I drew and this down arrow that I put, this is the first time I actually checked the dollar chart in probably a month, because like it was just obvious it was going down. It didn't hit exactly on which I was looking at 100, but it did hit at around 100, 0.6. So the dollar's going down. Bears are in control of the dollar. So what does that mean? Right now, the world is capitulating against the dollar. So how does this correlate into Bitcoin? So we look at price action. So for example, today we see price actions up for Bitcoin, and I see this time and time again. All of you know this, but of course this maybe need to be reminded. And then you can look at stochastics RSI in just a second. So could we have more room to go to the downside? Yes, but here's my point. We saw this spike up here with the dollar. You could correlate that with negative price action with Bitcoin. In fact, the dollar, of course, sometimes it goes off sync, but a lot of times it stays on sync, in which when dollar up, Bitcoin down. So right now, dollar down. What's happening with Bitcoin? Bitcoin up. So I mean, it's not exactly up like where we want it to be, but you can kind of see the correlation. In that we did have some temporary bullish action today. So let's go back to the dollar real quick, and I'm going to go back into Bitcoin real quick. I think this is important. So stochastics RSI is high. All right, the blue line represents my RSI, and the orange line stochastics. RSI is below.
Hey, Richard, hold on a second. Dave, I gotta interject with Dave Digital's comment real fast. He said, "Forget Mexican spaghetti. We got Szechuan noodles." So all the drawings. Yeah, there you go. So that's very funny. Very funny. Carry on, my good man. Carry on.
Okay, yeah, I heard he's an Ethereum maxi, and Ethereum maxis don't believe Bitcoin's going to hit 120K, and if it does, they'll shard themselves. I'm just kidding. What an awesome dude. So right now, I mean, literally the dollar, man, he got me so distracted, bro. The dollar is kind of in a downtrend. Now, it has support right here at $100. So what does that mean? We can come back off in legacy, and then we could have speculative assets come back up. Now, why do I say this? Let's go back into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin on the daily has been moving sideways. And you see the orange line, which is my 200-day moving average. My green line is my 21-day moving average. My 50-day moving average is this red line. Now you see the 21-day moving average failed. So technically bears are in control. However, we hit a major level of support, and I'm waiting to see if we come back on it at around 55K, because otherwise, if 55K fails, we're going to hit 52K, 52.3K, 52.2K all day long. That's just what it is. I mean, we could come back and retest these levels. Why would we come back and retest these levels? So right now, retail is not in control. I believe personally that it is BlackRock. Every time we see these market sell-offs, we see VanEck, we see all these other companies sell off, but guess who's absorbing it? BlackRock, because they see the bigger picture. They're looking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years out for now, because they're trying to buy up everything from under the sun. And Bitcoin is one of those assets, in my honest belief. So they're going to come back and they're going to buy it up. Now, does it dip back down? It depends on sellers if they're going to sell. But the reason why I showed that dollar chart earlier is that it looks like the dollar is trying to fail, and if it fails and it dips below 100, let's say it goes to 98, that is a bullish case for Bitcoin. So where do I see Bitcoin from here? So of course we fell this ascending. We had an ascending triangle that was trying, or an ascending wedge that was trying to form here, and it failed, got rejected off of the 200-day moving average. You could clearly see it right here. Got rejected, came back off, didn't even make it above the 50-day moving average, and then failed the 21-day. So currently, I see this time and time again. You see a price action come off, and then it wants to come back up and retest this 21-day moving average. How do I know this? I've been doing this for over 20 years. And what happens is people will see it come off, and then they're going to have to come and try to reclaim the prize, because there were people, whoever sold off, whoever has the money is going to come back and try to reclaim those profits back up. That's exactly that. That's why whenever you zoom out, let me zoom out a little bit here and kind of show you an illustration. Let's go to the 3-day. It's one of my favorite charts. You see this mega bull run up, right? This mega bull run up. It looks so juicy. It looks so bullish. Boom, goes to the upside. And then it comes off a little bit. And then it comes off a little bit again. And then it comes off a little bit again. So if we go and look at the highest point back here at around 49K, and even to the body of the candle, which is the majority of the trade. This is the minority of the trade up here at the top, and this is the majority of the trade right here on the body of this candle around 46,000. that leads me to believe, is it very possible for us to go back down there? Yes. And if it does, I'm not worried. It's actually kind of healthy because if I were a master strategist, if I had the most money in the world and I wanted to take everybody's money in the entire planet, what I would do is I would run the price up, and I've done this on small micro caps on DeFi, where I would run the price up, and then people will start selling out, and then I'd pump the price back up. They would put their money back in, and then I'd dump on them, and they would be like, oh, well, I caught the bottom, and then I dump on them again, and then until the point where you start to see the scales tip, and then people start giving out. Once people give out, you see this 200-day moving average wanting to come up, and the 21-day moving average is going to catch up with price action. So we can pretty much look anywhere between 49, 48, 49 to around 51, 52,000 for a bearish scenario. So if there's a bearish scenario that's coming in the short term, I think that's where I would catch it off for this October, November bull run up, and we could talk for hours based on that. But we could go back up to the upside. But it's literally this. I don't see this as a downward slipping wedge. It's not a wedge at all. It's looking more rounded. And when I see rounded price action, it almost seems like people are indecision. And right now, you have to remember, we're not trading against retail. We're trading against corporations. And to me, that's like BlackRock. So instead of playing checkers, I'm trying to play chess here. And stochastics RSI is coming low. I drew this months ago, and we came back off. I still feel like we're going to come back off a little bit more, which means we can get a little bit more pain. But then that's where I'm going to pick up some more. I'm not going to DCA large amounts, but I'm going to play around with it because I have a large bag for my where I'm going to make my life changing money, and then I have my short term trading bags in which I am day trading right here in between the zone right here.
Awesome. Yeah, that's actually interesting what that level was that you were calling for there, that 49, 51,000. I'm sure you're going to show something on that. But I want to jump over here and just show the little differences that this was pointed out yesterday on Crypto Face's live stream. This was also brought on there by Kelly Kellum. So I want to bring this over here because shout out to those guys. But if you guys weren't watching that yesterday, Crypto Face called market top. He said that top is in. So, and it was really off of this chart here that he was talking about that something fundamentally is broken. It was other data that he said that for, but this is what he said. Look, if you want to see how different it is, this is the first cycle of Bitcoin. You can see upward cycle in this first opening post halving. The gray line at the beginning of this peach is the halving, and then it runs in during that period for the first, let's see here, it's came in 12. So each one of these is a month. Okay. You can see here, nice run up on the first cycle. Second run up, had a little pullback, ran up, right? Third cycle, nice little run up there, had a little pullback a little bit right here at the beginning, but then run up. This is the first cycle that from the halving we've just come down. That's really all we've done. So he did point that out as being a huge difference in the cycle. And then also for people wondering about the fear and greed, I actually asked ChatGPT, what exactly is the data that goes into this thing? She came back. Volatility is 25% of it. Market momentum is 25% of it. Social media, analyzing the social media sentiment, Twitter, Reddit, so on and so forth, is at 15% of it. Surveys do 15% of it. The dominance of Bitcoin is 10% of it. And then Google Trends. So if you guys ever wondered where all that data gets pulled from for that fear and greed, ChatGPT knew the answers were there. So let's jump over here to my chart though, and I'll show you why I thought that number was interesting that you said there, because on my chart right here, which by the way, guys, we are losing that 887 right now. This weekly candle will need to close, like we have always said, above to stay in its range. If not, we're in a new range. But I have talked about that. If we go to the downside, we should not ever break this 786. If we break the 786, I called it back here, called it down here. This has been my level looking at this chart, which is a Fibonacci channel over the entire history of Bitcoin. If we break that 786, we've got a whole new scenario that we have to address on Bitcoin because it's never done it. It's held strong. And that level right now on the current candle is coming in at about 48.5 on the downside. So that's why I thought that those numbers were interesting that you were talking about there on yours. So you know who's very bearish on Bitcoin right now, though? not just our chart and TA. It's actually this guy right here. It is Arthur Hayes, guys, and he tips extreme fear on Bitcoin, sub 50K Bitcoin weekend. That's what he is saying there. Crypto market sentiment dropped back into extreme fear, which we just saw. Bitcoin's price slump, and Arthur Hayes is predicting that it could drop again. Crypto market sentiment has fallen back into that extreme fear. Hayes predicts it could sink another 12% to fall under $50,000, right there in line with what I was just showing you on the chart and what Richard showed you on his. The fear and greed, which measures market sentiment, we just showed all that possible stuff. Hit 22 this morning, which we've already talked about. It's the lowest score. Price for the price index hitting 20 on August 8th. So we were at 20 on August 8th. Now we are here at September 6th, almost a month later, hitting 22. Going down, he said, Bitcoin is heavy. Hayes said, the former boss of crypto exchange BitMEX, in a post on X, I'm gunning for sub 50K this weekend. I took a cheeky short, he says. And he said, U.S. job data is released on September 5th, fell short, and has raised further concern about an expected federal interest rate cut. Bitcoin's price dragged down, falling 2.3%. Solana dropping 2.82. XRP dropping 2.19 there. And across the board, the price dives led to 94.26 million in liquidations in the last day, according to CoinGlass data. But yeah, you guys can see there, not looking too strong from Arthur Hayes either. He's actually calling for that lower level. And I also want to show you just where we are right now with the stock market open. Let's jump over here to the screener. Nope, not the screener. My bad. The heat maps, and let's grab those stocks and just see how stocks are looking 30 minutes into the market open. We're seeing red or gray. Gray means that it's a slight downtrend. Red meaning that it's more than 1%. So, yeah, well, Google's down, Nvidia, so tech all taking a hit today, guys. The markets are continuing to sell off. Tesla's down 3.29% there. So I wanted to bring that up. Overall, I would say sentiment from, big names, sentiment from nobodies like the four of us on this screen, and the economic analysts out there are all looking at lower downside, but I do think there are some key levels, and there is, as we talked about yesterday on Trade Academy with FD White and I, there are opportunities to catch these little bounces, like, 55.555 call that Alex O made, perfect little scalp trade to the upside. So there is money to be made. But are you more leaning towards, and I want to go around the panel here, are you more leaning towards, if you were to take a trade right now, whether you're a trader or not, if you had to trade, someone put a nerf to your head, they will call it that, and said you're going to do a trade right now, long or short, are you longing or shorting right now for this weekend? Richard, we'll go with you first.
Okay. Yeah. So, hang on. Let me jump to the charts real quick because I'm not one of those guys who's so my end thesis is I'm longing, of course. But I'm not longing. But what will I do this weekend? Let me go to a shorter time frame. Okay. Let me go to my hourly. My hourly suggests that bears are in control. Let me go to my 4 hour. 4 hours suggests that bears are in control, but because we had this candle look to the downside, and then we're trying to hold support right here at 55.8K, that we could come back up and try to retest this 21-day moving average at 56K. Okay, let's go to a shorter time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute, then I'm going to go to my 7-minute. Okay, the 15-minute completely 100% suggests that we're going to go and reattempt this 200-day moving average. But this 200-day moving average, a lot of times people look at the 200-day moving average and say, oh, price will go here. I see a level in which the 21-day will meet the 200-day, which that could be it. I mean, this could be the key right here, 56.4K. That could be the rejection point or the exception point. Going into this weekend, let me look at the 7-minute real quick.
That's interesting
Okay.
because 7 minute is my preferred scalping time frame too. So that's pretty interesting. You use the 7.
Oh, dude, the 7 minute is the golden time frame for me. I use it. To me, it's like the golden time frame for the short time frame. The 4 hour for me is like the golden time frame for right before the longer time frames pop off, and the longer time frames kind of tell me where the 4 hour is going to go in the long run. So currently, right now, I mean, bears are in control on the 7 minute. I mean, they're absolutely in control. So according to it looks like on the higher time frames, we're going to come back up to 56.4K. But if we want to be real and we see this 21-day moving average breaking down below the 200-day moving average, trying to meet this 50-day moving average, I mean, price action might get rejected right here. So it looks bearish in that we could get rejected right here. But if you're asking me in this weekend, and this is a 7-minute time frame, so let's see, 7, 14, 20, 28, we go up here, get rejected, or we go up here, try to come back up and retest this top at around 56K. It's I would be a fool to say if we're up or down, but what I can say is that 100% that the price action almost always, not always, but almost always tries to gravitate towards these moving averages, and I see confluence right here at around 55.8K. So are we going to exceed that? I don't know. I'll have to look, but we're going to at least hit 55.8K short term, and that's not my long term predictions, but that's short term.
All right. So short term, you think long up to that rejection, but that would be your short entry for the weekend. I take it then.
That's correct, because if I was to trade that, because I do 100x when I on my short term bag, I do only 100x leverage. I don't have any. I have impatience for anything else. So when I hit it, I'm going to take that green. I'm going to take that green or red candle, and if it hit that zone, likely it's going to get rejected. Even if it gets accepted back up to the upside, you want to hit those nice juicy points, because that's where you make the profits. Because a lot of times when you have good support and resistance levels, that's where people made or lost money, and that's when you can take advantage of that.
So Richard Berry is an Irish chink with mafia cojones. I'm just going to put that out there. Trade fly, long or short this weekend, bro?
Bro, we are so getting demonetized on this one. All right, let's go ahead and look at the chart. All right, overall, like if you're looking at the chart, just top level view, right? It's bearish. I mean, look, bearish, one day, 4 hours, 60 minutes, market dump. It's all telling us bearish, right? And you're seeing a series of lower highs. Here's your hopium. All right, there is a little level of horizontal support that's developing right here at about 55,000. And then if you come down to the oscillator on the 4 hour specifically, you're seeing a lot of hits of bullish divergence, right? You're getting these indicators, and you're seeing market reversals starting to pop off, right? The last time we saw this, let's go back and look in history. You got this turnaround right here for a nice move to the upside. So we're kind of waiting for that. It's prime. Here's the issue. We got bad data. We got bad market structure. Like it doesn't look good, which if you're going to put a gun to my head, seeing that we're forming what looks like more of a descending triangle with a horizontal level of support and this downtrending trend line, I mean, the sentiment for me would be more bearish than bullish. I'm going to play the odds. I would probably be more short than I am long. I don't like to short at support. Like I like to see the OC retest that we always talk about. So when you start developing, this horizontal level here, I want to see something that looks like that before I actually go short. Okay. So that's what I'll say there. I got to see my OC retest and make me feel warm and cozy about making that play before I'm actually going to enter. But yeah, I'm more bearish than bullish at this point in time.
All right. OC, final one. Long or short this weekend? Arthur Hayes, is he wrong or is he right? Are you going with it? What are you doing?
I'm doing both. Let's just apply let's not fail this. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, the thing in here is that if I'm going to be looking at throughout this weekend, I just don't want to do one single movement, right? Usually I'm going to be looking at daily. Let's go for daily first. so I can do a little bit of explanation. And let me copy these candles here. I think this is exactly what's going to happen throughout this weekend. So we are doing this. So at this point, let me go ahead and maybe it's just a little bit overextended. Like, let me just do something like that. All right. I think that we're gonna be having, and this is the part that I believe it's gonna happen throughout the weekend. We're gonna have a series of up and downs. In reality, on daily or even 4 hours, we're not gonna be doing that much. All right. Of course, that I could be wrong, and we could continue going downwards. But here's the thing: I'm gonna go to the 15 minutes and wrap things up in there. So let me even clean this up and go to perfect to my 15 minutes. Let's clear this up, and I'm gonna get started with the very bare bones. Right here, I already have a reversal. I'm below dynamic reactor, so I'm gonna also add a trend channel here. So come on, just too many things here happening in my brain. This tool, it is called the regression trend channel. Sorry. And I'm going to try to position myself at the bottom for a possible long. And look at that. We already have a little bit of a check mark. What happened last time we have a check mark? A bounce up, right? And then, oh, not this one. And then I want to pair it with my oscillator. So right here, I'm also going to try to pair myself with a short at the top of the range, and I'm going to try to keep them both alive, right? What's going to happen with my long, if I take it here, I'm going to take 50% out and leave the other 50% out and keep my stop loss. All right. And then when it reverses, I'm going to keep my short alive. When it gets to the bottom, I'm going to take 50% out and then also keep my stop loss for my long and keep them both alive at 50%. So whatever it happens, if I can get into a long to a short, which is a hedge, well, then at that point, I'm already almost into the golden zone, because if the price bursts to the upside, what's going to happen to my long is going to make money. What's going to happen to my short is going to get stop losses at very small losses, right? And what happens the other way around? If it goes downwards, it's going to stop out my long, and my short is going to keep making money. So this is going to be my strategy for the weekend. So I'm going to be aiming for both. Right now, I'm going to be waiting for a retracement. I don't want to jump in right now on my first long. Why? Because I'm not there yet with support and resistance. Yes, I'm in a discount zone, but if I take a look, and this is what I wanted to show you, here we go. We do not have flip of the ribbon just now. Are we close? Yes, we're close to flip of the ribbon. Am I going to be preparing for entering maybe a trade today? Yes, I will be entering a trade today. Most likely somewhere around this area. So I think we're still cooking at somewhere around 54, 500. So that's going to be my plan for the weekend.
Awesome. Yeah, real quick before we wrap this up with the conversation, I'll show you guys what my plan is this weekend. I actually entered into it last night off of my golden pocket, and I'm up 24.93, 25% profit right now on my trade. So I'm in a short on Bitcoin, have been since last night, which we talked about that I was going to short up that level on the golden pocket. I talked about it in TA 101. So if you were in TA 101 last night, I told you guys about this call, and that was for our members. So if you guys are not members, check out Blofin down below. That's for Blofin users and for Chart Prime users and Summa Cum Laude. We talked about it last night. TA 101, there's my Bitcoin short, up 25% profit, and I'm going to let it ride for the weekend. So that is all we have time for today. We are at the bottom of the hour, but Richard Berry, dude, it was awesome having you on, and I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with you here on the channel. You are always welcome to have a seat here with the panel at the Piper Academy. We appreciate you, man. You got anything for the people on the way out? Any words of wisdom from the Irish chink?
Don't get wrecked, obviously. Thank you for having me. I love you all, dude. OC guy, dude, you're amazing, dude. Tradefly, I've been watching you, dude. You're awesome too. Army Piper, bro. You're dude, you're a unique bro, and so
Appreciate you.
thank you for having me. Also, one thing I do want to say that I would like to leave everybody with: I'm an opposite trader. I used to get duped by watching the news all the time. I used to watch Jim Cramer, back in the legacy days when I was like right in my early 20s. And man, I mean, it's true. Whatever he says is wrong. And so I was wondering, why is it this way? And there, of course, people can come out with some conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but you could think that, but to me, I just can't help but notice that every time the news media comes out, for example, a Goldman Sachs article came out yesterday or day before yesterday, I can't remember, but it stated that that we're going to have devastation, which first of all, I completely believe, but I noticed that when large institutions come out with this data or come out with these articles, they're usually about 3 to 6 months behind. They're always behind because they'll come out with an article that might seem true now because we'll have a dip in price, which I think is going to happen probably before the election. But then they predicted in the article that after the election there was going to be a huge parabolic run up in that article, and I was like, huh. Well, I'm an opposite trader. Let me ask ChatGPT. So I input all my economic data that I had, and it said that based on the information, and then I even included that article that there's going to be a significant drop off. And then also, if you look at 4 months in which the Bitcoin ETF is going to the 1 year anniversary for it is going to be in December, puts it at 4 months, which is directly between the 3 month to 6 month time period in which I noticed that these articles actually play out. So it might seem true now, in which it will be true now, but just be careful when you look at articles out there. That's all I got to say. Love you all.
Absolutely. And you said his name, and so he appears. Jim Cramer dropped into the chat and he said, "Hey yo." So if you say his name, he will appear. He's like Beetlejuice. Tradefly, you got anything for the people on the way out before we wrap this up, man? You're going to Florida for a game, so you're going to be unplugged from everything. What's your words of wisdom to the people on the way out, man?
No real words of wisdom. We're giving you all the tools you need here. So follow us, go over to the Discord, follow some of the trade setups we're giving you guys. Like, we're doing this for you guys, and we're putting a lot of time in, a lot of energy in. This is OC's like full-time job. Piper's pretty much full-time job. He says he's retired, but he's lying,
I suck at it.
We're, and it was funny. Richard was saying something about doing kind of the opposite trading. Like, I used to have this saying, you'll see it on Twitter sometimes, where I'm like, inverse influencer. Like, that's what I'm trading today, man. Everybody is bearish as hell. I'm going long. I'll play that. And I tell you, I think I've hit on that probably 7 or 8 times out of 10 that I've tried it. So I think you're onto something there for sure. The inverse Kramer, I think that's real. But yeah, that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy some football. Enjoy some time with the family. Unplug a little bit.
Touch some grass.
The markets. Yeah, man. Go touch the grass. That's kind of
been touch
a big
some
thing
cactuses if you live in El Paso.
yeah. I'll touch some sand out in the high desert. So, but yeah, dude, it's great mixing up with you guys in the chat. And I'm in an airport right now. I just love doing this. I love mixing up with you guys. So, for me, that's kind of what gets my day started, and I really enjoy it. So again, you guys have a good one. I'll pass it over to AOC. Let's see what happens if you hit that like button. It's going to be crazy. So, Richard, thanks for coming on.
Just call him AOC? I'm just kidding.
I didn't call him AOC, but
I like the only AOC that I like out there, by the way, is Alex O Crypto.
Alex O Crypto.
That's the only AOC I like.
There you go.
All right, OC, what do you got for these people, man? We had a bunch of viewers in here. We got 75 people right now on YouTube. That means that we have about 20 people over on X watching us. What do these people need to do before they leave the stream today?
Guys, thanks so much for joining. First of all, next, a quick reminder to click that like button, because if you do, guys, and you're hungry at night, remember that breakfast or that dinner that you forgot on the microwave like 2 days ago, and you haven't taken it? Well, then I promise you that if you click that like button, it's going to still be good. Just need 1 more minute in the microwave and you're ready to go. So stay away from food poisoning, and also keep some Pepto-Bismol on hand. Other than that, let me know what happened.
Not nutritional advice. Guys, thanks for joining us here today on the Piper Academy. We appreciate you guys, all of you. Thanks for joining us. We're going to be back here next Monday morning looking at the market setup for the week. A lot of data coming out. If you guys don't know, I saw someone say, I thought Piper was all out. I still have 32 Ethereum and I still have a whole Bitcoin. I got rid of all of my alts. All of my other alts, they're all out, and I'm going to be selling off half of my Ethereum at least. Once it's unlocked, it's locked. Okay. But my Bitcoin, I'm still holding a whole Bitcoin, bro. I just got out of all the alts. I risked off, man. This is what we do, right? So there's that information. We'll clarify that for RMT. No one's ever gone broke taking some profit, and I took a lot of heavy profit. So, guys, we'll be back here next Monday. Until then, guys, this weekend, be safe. Spend some time with family. If you don't see a good trade, don't touch it. Sometimes not having a position is a position. And if you are going to trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss. Later, guys.
I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after the wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, former Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Chart Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!